Okay, this is an episode review for... I do think I remember the episode. I saw it on a website. It's called Us, I believe. That's a really weird name for an episode. I don't know why.
All about us.
Well, maybe it relates to the group mentality that Joe was talking about. Like, you know, the group and claimed and all that bullshit. Or I don't know. Something like that.
And the fact that they all, even though that they were splitting up, at the end they all got back together and like, okay, let's go to the end of the line. You know, it's a group effort.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. So this episode, I don't know, it dealt with a lot of different situations. Particularly, like, I was hoping that they'd have more Rick Grimes in there, but they didn't.
Rick Grimes.
Like, he hasn't been in there for the past couple episodes, and then they give him only like a few minutes airtime. Yeah. That's it. Like, it's just like, oh, they're still on the road.
This is gonna be a big conflict though. Now that we find out that Joe's group knows that, you know, who it was, and it's a bloodlust that they're going at, and Daryl's in that group now.
Well, I feel like Daryl would say, like, oh, I know these people. These is people.
Well, yeah, but like now it's like a conflict because now that they're hunting them down, we saw that they were right on their trail there. So it's
they stepped over the candy wrapper. So we do know that they're going. Everyone's converging on the same place. It's been hinted a bazillion times that all of our characters are going in the same place, and now we do know that some of our characters are there. You know. Obviously, the big thing in this episode, I'd say, was the Glenn and Maggie meet up. He saw
finally
this
after stumbling through that fucking tunnel, almost getting that girl. I always forget, was her name Julie?
Tara.
I always forget her name. But like, they almost got themselves killed. Fucking. And Abraham was like, yeah, I'm not going in that cave, But the
girl, it's funny, the girl that was with Abraham was saying to Glenn, like, why are you being such a jerk? Like, these are people too. Like, I get you gotta save your girlfriend, dude, but for wife
Glenn
or whatever.
Is so fucking single focus. He's just like, nope, hyper focus. I gotta get Maggie.
It's funny, Maggie was like that too in the previous episode when it was them and Sasha and Bob. Like, if you remember,
they're perfect together.
Yeah, they're fucking crazy. Everything could be blowing up around them, but as long as they have each other,
they'll be hugging.
Yeah, it would be.
It was so funny when Glenn saw that sign. It was like, Glenn, go to Terminus. He had the pussy face.
It was like
I'm gonna get some, man. He starts sprinting.
It was like instant boner. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm getting some tonight.
Jesus, yeah, but no, that group made it to Terminus, and I don't know, some really creepy looking ladies like, welcome, now you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's too early to tell, but like, it could either be a cult, like some fucked up place, or something actually good. But like, because that preview was weird, because the preview for the finale was Carl was running through the woods, like it looked like something had happened, like maybe Joe's group caught up with them or something. Joe's group was fighting a bunch of walkers, and so was Michonne, and it looked like Rick was beat the shit up again.
Yeah, it looks like Rick got captured by somebody. It was
either Joe's group beat the crap out of him, or like something happened at Terminus, like.
But the thing is, I feel like the thing with Joe's group, I mean, that's not, we don't know who, these are just a bunch of rogue, warriors.
Yeah.
Like,
they killed that fucking guy in the group.
I mean, yeah, it's so what? I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, and I'm sure, that they'll talk it out, and, Daryl will be like, I know these people. So it's not really, in my mind, I don't feel like that'll be I don't know. I feel like it'll be something else. I feel like there's going to be some, villain or something at this fucking place that's going to go down.
There's going to be some weird thing. Like, there was, like, a split-second image of, like, a dark room with, like, a bunch of candles. So, like, if that was a Terminus, it, like, leads me to believe it's some kind of weird cult over there. Like, I don't know. Some weird voodoo shit. But
yeah, it's really, really weird. I'm not quite sure what's going on and shit. But
and they didn't show anything about Carol and Tyrese, so we don't know when they'll be arriving at Terminus.
Yeah,
if that'll play into the finale, too.
I'm not sure. I mean, for me... I said this. We know everyone's going to that location, so there's no doubt there. It's just how they're going to interact and what's going to go down on the whole episode. I don't know. It looks like Joe respects Mr.
Bowman.
Mr. Bowman, yeah, Mr. Daryl.
Hey, my name's Joe. I respect the Bowman. A Bowman's a Bowman.
Yeah. Yeah, we just call it a freaking Bowman. Yeah, name's Joe. Yeah,
my name's Joe.
Yeah. Oh my God, Joe's pretty fun. I like Joe. Yeah. He's not that bad of a character. He's pretty funny. But
well, if he fucks with Rick, I have a problem with him. But like,
yeah, it seems like the other members of the group are kind of dicks. Like, there's no character with those guys except that one guy who got beat the shit out of and killed because he fucking tried to lie. But yeah, but it looks like, I don't know. From that incident, it looks like Joe respects people actually telling the truth and not being idiots. So
Which is good. I mean, like if they didn't get intertwined with our other main characters, I would like them to be just like a separate group because it seems like I mean I like Joe and like he has this 3 code rule book and like you just follow that and everything works out. But
yeah.
But if they get intertwined with everyone else, shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen right now. I'm not sure what exactly will happen when they get to this place. I'm hoping for a happy reunion between Rick, Carl, and Judith, just like Maggie and Glenn got. So
yeah, hopefully.
That's what I'm hoping for. If Tyrese and Carol can make it, which it looks like they're on the right track, just like everyone else. So
I like the whole part with Eugene. Like we really saw like until now, like he barely talked. He was so fucking socially awkward. But this episode, he actually really took the stand because when
what video games you like?
But like, yeah, and he didn't fucking. He was trying to hit on fucking that girl.
Yeah,
again.
and I didn't know she was a lesbian. I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, she's a lesbian.
She had a girlfriend.
Like,
but no, I like girls. But yeah, like when they were directing each other, when Abraham and when they were leaving, he directed them to go back to the train tracks and wait for Glenn because he calculated that Mr. Genius calculated the precise time that they would arrive. So he drove them around, and then when he fucking laid his chair down to wake Abraham up, that was hilarious. But
yeah, that was so funny. He's like, we're going to what the fuck? It was like a Three Stooges moment. Like, it literally just hit him. It was like Mo. It was like, oh, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, and then they were arguing, and Eugene was like, wait, look, and they're all arguing, and like he saw Maggie and Bob and Sasha walking down the tracks, and they got to rescue Jen right in the fucking Glenn right at the right time.
So overall, the action was a bit of disappointment, a bit of action. I'll give the episode, I don't know, I'll give it just a regular 8 because I would have liked to have seen more of what Rick's doing because, I don't know, like, it just doesn't seem they've developed his character since the fall at the prison. Like, he's beaten, but, like, other than that, like, you don't really know much about him because the first episode back was all about Carl and Michonne's character. Like, Rick was just like passed out most of the time.
We've seen none of Rick.
Like Rick was passed out. He was reading the episode where Joe's group invaded, and then he just hid under a bed, killed one of the group members, and just ran out and was like, "Get the fuck out of this house! Just go away." Like, there's been really little character development. If you think about it, with all the characters, like we've seen more character development with Carol and Tyrese. Like Tyrese forgiving Carol. Like just we've seen other things. More character development with them, like it's weird.
I think that's what the second half of the 4th season is really. It's character development because literally all we've had up until this point, it's been the Rick Grimes show. Like honestly, like we've seen him. We know everything about his backstory. We've seen him grow since the first day of him waking up in the hospital, and it's been all about him. And finally, we're let in all these major characters we've known nothing about.
Exactly.
So, and I pretty much now, with the finale coming up, they've tied up all the loose ends really, like with all the other characters. So we're gonna see it all play out in a fucking either a bloodbath or who knows what's.
I don't know. I mean, these are just. Even though it's a finale, I don't know if they'll make it longer. But isn't it just usually a 1-hour episode? It's the same length as these. So I mean, that's gonna be a lot to fit in. I don't know how they'll do it, but I guess we'll wait and see next week. And next week, I just want to say I might have some extra guests on here because I do have some other friends that I know who like this show, and I might try to get them together to do this with us because we might be watching the finale together. So I'll have an update on that perhaps next week. But in terms of the episode, I gave it an 8. What'd you give it?
I'll probably give it an 8.5.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I liked it. It had some humor in it. It had some good.
Yeah, the humor made up for it. I was just disappointed that we didn't. It wasn't really a balance. It was like, oh, I found a candy wrapper, and then I don't know.
Yeah. But. Well, I guess we'll be seeing enough of Rick Grimes in the next show, but who knows?
Yep, I'm just hoping nothing happens to him. But it's not possible for him to die, I'm just going to say, because, again, we haven't been introduced to the next big villain, which, I mean, I know the show doesn't follow the comics, but at least in the comics there's a big war between Rick and the big villain that, they haven't introduced to the series yet, which they probably won't introduce until late season 5, even into season 6. I'm guessing. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yep. Until then, thank you, and we'll have a good show for you next week.
My name's Joe.